War in Dark Fantasy is not about the glory of battle, it's not about noble knights clashing in shining armor or the triumph of good and evil. War in Dark Fantasy is brutal, dirty, and soul-crushing. It is a test of survival, not honor. Unlike traditional fantasy wars where heroes charge into battle and emerge victorious, Dark Fantasy explores the true cost of war, the suffering, the betrayal, and the scars that never truly heal. In this video, I'll break down how to write a dark fantasy warfare in a way that feels grounded, immersive, and emotionally devastating. Dark fantasy does not treat war as a historic struggle, it presents war as an extension of human greed, fear, and desperation. Unlike normal fantasy where battles are often about vanquishing evil, dark fantasy war is about who can endure the suffering the longest. Victory is rarely about strategy alone. It is about the resources, deceptions, and the will to keep fighting when others falter. Take Berserk for example. The Band of the Hawk does not win battles because they are heroic or righteous. They win because they fight smarter, dirtier, more ruthless than their enemies. But even then, their victories come at a cost. War erodes sanity, friendships, and faith in their better world. If you're writing a war in dark fantasy, remember this: no one wins without losing something. A crucial mistake in dark fantasy battles is treating war like a choreographed dance. In reality, war is a messy, terrifying, and unpredictable. Dark fantasy should embrace the chaos. Soldiers don't fight with honor. They stab, bite, claw, and kill however they can. They die from infection, starvation, and despair as much as they do from the enemy's swords. A battlefield is not just a clash of weapons, it is a living nightmare. The air is thick with stench of rotting bodies, burning wood, and splintered intestines. The sounds of war are not just the clash of steel, but screams, broken bones, and the wet gaggle of men drowning in their own blood. War is psychological horror as much as it is physical destruction. This is why description matters. Instead of just simply saying the battlefield was bloody, immerse your readers in the filth, the fear, and the exhaustion. War is not just about the fighting, it's about what happens before, during, and after the battle. A good fantasy war doesn't just focus on the bloodshed, it should show how battles are planned, fought, and lost. Wars in dark fantasy are rarely won by sheer numbers, they're won by deception, desperation, and ruthless efficiency. Like I said before, ambushes, supply lines, sabotages, and psychological warfare should play a role in your battles. Armies that march into war without a plan don't survive long. This is where historical tactics become invaluable. Think about how the Mongols used deception and speed to outmaneuver their enemies, or even how Roman legions relied on deception or relied on discipline and formation tactics. These elements can ground your fantasy battles in realistic military strategies. For example, in Kindriok, battles are not just about clashing swords. They involve spies leaking false information, assassinations, or key leaders, and entire cities being cut off from food and water before even a single sword is drawn. War is not just about fighting, it's about breaking the enemy's spirit before they even set foot on the battlefield. I can go even further than that. Even when they set foot on the battlefield, the battles are won when the spirit is broken, not when you kill enough soldiers. In war, morale is everything. An enemy that is well fed, well trained, and confident can defeat an army twice its size if their enemies are starved and afraid. In dark fantasy, this means showing the emotional and psychological toll of war. Fear spreads like a disease in an army. Soldiers are not fearless warriors. They are men and women who are terrified of dying in the mud. They see their friends disemboweled and wonder if they'll be next. Some turn to faith, others to alcohol, and some to desert the battlefield altogether. In Kindriok, dominion will plays a significant role in battles because leaders can crush the morale of their enemies just by standing on the field. A warrior who can project their will onto others can break an army before the first charge begins. But even beyond supernatural abilities, morale in war is fragile. A single decisive defeat can shatter a kingdom, while a single victory can convince starving men to fight another day. Dark fantasy does not end wars with a triumphant parade. Victory is hollow. Even those who survive the battle will never be the same. Soldiers return home with missing limbs, shattered minds, and nightmares that will haunt them for the rest of their life. War is not just about those who die, it is about those who can live and carry the weight of what they have done. Look at the Black Company from Glenn Cook, for example. It portrays mercenaries who do not fight for noble causes, they fight because it's all they know. Their victories are ugly and their defeats are even worse, but what makes the book powerful is how war changes them, how it erodes their humanity one battle at a time. In Kindrio, war is a cycle that never ends. Even if one of the empires fall, one rises to take its place. Soldiers who fought for noble cause soon realized they were just pawns in a much larger game. The rulers go unpunished and the common people suffer the most. War is not about heroes, it's about who can live with the weight of their sins. In fantasy, magic and supernatural abilities should not make war easy, they should make it more terrifying. Kindrio elemental masters can reshape the battlefield, but they are not invincible. Fire users can reduce the battlefield to ashes, but they also bleed. Wind users move faster than normal soldiers, but they tire. War does not favor one side, it simply evolves. When writing dark fantasy war, magic should not be a cheat code, it should be another tool that soldiers use to survive. Even the most powerful warriors cannot be everywhere at once, and even gods can be brought down by strategy and betrayal. If you want your war scenes to feel real, you must embrace the suffering, the fear, and the brutality of battle. War is not a game. It is a machine that chews up the weak and leaves the strong broken. It is not about good versus evil. It's about who is willing to do what it takes to win. In dark fantasy, war does not end when the battle is won. It lingers in the minds of those who fought, in the ruins of once great kingdoms, and the whispers of those who wonder when the next war will begin, because in the end, war truly never ends, it just waits for its next victim. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to buy my book if you like dark fantasy, if you like everything I talked about in there. It's all in that book, and it's all gonna be in the second book, which is scheduled to come out in about a year or two, depending how fast I can actually get to writing this. But yeah, like I said, don't forget to buy my book, link in the description. Don't forget to follow me on socials. And again, thank you very much for watching. Peace.